So last class we had discussed about how to create what is pod and all, what is Kubernetes pod, and how to create pod object, and how to describe that, and how to check all pods and all, and is in right. And also last class right, what is service object. So service object is nothing but this is the discoverable in our application. Suppose you deployed many applications. Suppose if you want to discover one. See, so last class we seen right, responsible for making paths discoverable inside your network or exposing it in the network. So if we create any pod, the pod is running inside the cluster, right? So within the pod, your container is running, but that is only we can access. That is we can access. We can access within the cluster. Now, if you want to access via browser, or if you want to access, right, outside the world, that is nothing but any cloud and all. So last class we seen, right, there is three types of services. One is cluster IP, and node port and load balancers. So cluster IP mostly we are using if you want to access your application within that cluster. So that case mostly we are using cluster IP and all. And if you want to access your application via browser, so that case mostly we are using node port and load balancer. Suppose if you configure self-managed Kubernetes cluster and all, so that case mostly we are using type equal to node port. But right now we are using a EKS cluster, right? So EKS cluster, and here type equal to node load balancer. We added, right, type equal to load balancer. In interview also many people they are asking what is service object. Service object nothing but you want to discoverable inside your network, expose the internet. I want to find a particular application. So which application you want to access, right, this is my cluster. So this is my cluster. So just assume this is my worker node. So here I have two parts. So here I have two parts. This is one part. Here one application is running, and this is I created Tomcat container and deployed my application, right? So this is the Tomcat server and all, and here application is running. Same, this is one more pod. This is one more pod, and here also I deployed one more application, same Tomcat server, and deployed other application. But now I want to access my application. I want to access my application. So if you want to access your application, for each pod we given one name, right? So that is the label tag. We given labels, under labels. So there I given something app colon. So here I given something Java web. Just I given one name. And same way, so for this manifest file also there is a label tag is there. Labels, right, under the labels we are giving some name. For example, this is the one that I am giving, that is Java, this is app. Now how we can call in our service object, so these are the syntax already last you seen, right? So this is the same only. So API version, we are giving, and and also kind, API version, and kind means what object. Now I am giving service object. So service means it is discuss service object, and say metadata. Metadata is nothing but this is your service name. For example, name I given. So for which application you want to give, so anything. So here I given some name, web Tomcat, and there is a spec, right? So under the spec, so there is a type. We are using type. Type means here we can use node port, cluster ip cluster ip or node port, and also load balancer. We can use load balancer. So next, so under here there is a selector, right? So there is a selector. Under the selector, so here we need to use, so what name we given here, same name. What name we given, same name. And here also we given, right, same. Last class we I think that is deleted, right? Again we need to create a scratch level, so or else I need to take backup. Mm, so okay, let me quickly create a one pod and all, and also same I am going to create one service object both. So one pod, one service object, one pod and service object. So yesterday I destroyed, right? So destroyed means it won't work. So destroyed means it won't work. Let me create quickly. So now with the help of labels and selectors, so that the service object it is discoverable that particular application, which application you want to access, which application. So right now I don't have anything. Right now let me connect. Mm, that is create different. So now if you come to here, so DevOps, this is my another instance ls. Already here one is there. Let me open this. I am going to write same object. So vi sudo vi test pod. Okay, insert already have. So this is a metadata kind name Java web application labels I've given some name. So labels I given some name, and also we need to use so and also anything here. So containers and name and image and port. So I insert. Let me update quickly. So same file, same manifest file, I am going to write service object also. Same manifest file, I am going to write a service object also. Okay, dot. So again, I am going to write a service object. So now API version colon v1, and so now kind, which this is the service. What is the object name? Service. VC service. Next metadata. So name, this is the service object name. Service object name. So Java Web SR, SRC SVC service. Okay. So we can give anything. So we can give so anything. We can give anything. So next spec same under the spec section. So under the spec section and type. What is the type? Yesterday we used load balancer, right? Load balancer. B cap letter. Balancer. Next. So next selector. Now I am using so selector. Under the selector, here I am giving some key and value pair, right? For example, app colon and so Java web app. Okay, I given like so Java web app. So now what is this? Ports, right? Ports. Under the port, next port. So what is this port? Default port 80. Last we seen, right? This service object and pod. Internally they are communicating with the help of HTTP. Next target port number. Target port. Target port. So this port should match with the this port number. Container port number should match with the target port. So that is the matching. Container port number should match 80. So 80. Now anything missing?
Line 6 having problem.
9 line number escape colon sc set nu.
No,
Okay. Line number
line
6
7. 7. 7.
labels, yeah, space problem, right? Here. So here I given labels. Okay. What is label name?
Line number 7. APP.
App colon Java web app. Correct. So
Yeah, that's sir.
okay, this should be matched with the, this is the selector. Now this is I given one label name for this my so this is a pod. I given one label name, and so in the service object selector, so whatever we are passing here I need to give space also, right? Label. Okay.
To given
Labels
space.
app
No.
says, so
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Oh, correct.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Now
yes.
escape colon X. So now how to run this manifest file? So kubectl apply hyphen f your file name test hyphen so pod test hyphen pod. Okay. So see here. So created. So Java this is one pod is created and also one service object also it is created. So how to check this and all? I want to check my only pods. What is the command? Kubectl get pods. So if you want to check only particular parts, suppose if you want to check only service, kubectl get svc get svc. So service object. Now see here. So this is my service object and this is my cluster IP and type. Which service type I am using? Load balancer. And see automatically it is generating the so external IP. This is your this is your so external IP. Just copy this one and no need to do anything. So go to browser, just paste it. That's it. But it will take time, 1 or 2 minutes. Just wait. So it will take time 1 or 2 minutes. Now this is same only. Remaining already you know. So I want to describe. So what is the command? Kubectl describe. If you want to give so describe pod and pod name, or if you want to check your service and service name, so that's svc service. What is that name? Service name kubectl get all means it will display all services, that is all objects. So this is your pod and this is your service. So this is your service, this is the default service, and this is just now we created one service, right? If you want to know all these things, so now kubectl describe svc shortcut name svc or sv, correct one, right? Svc and so java web app, directly we can copy and
Ja-
paste it.
Java Web SVC.
Kubectl Disc dscribe describe, just copy and paste it. Service and what is this? Kubectl describe service and service
Yes,
name. Service name. Okay, so directly we can paste it. That's it. Now we can get you can see all information. What is your service name and what is your namespace and what is the selector name, what is the IP, what is the load balancer. So everything we can find here. So this is the node port number. By default, as of now, I didn't assign any node port number. So by default, it is generating one number. Okay. So if you want to, we can add that line node port. If you want to, we can add it that node port. Now see here. So now your Tomcat server is up, and so how to access your Maven web hyphen my context path. This is my context path application. Okay. So now we can see this is now. So now if we see here, now I can able to access and all. Now there is a so as of now, anyone any doubt? So how to create pod and what is service object and what is selector and so here we given we added some lines, right? Anyone any doubt as of now? Cat space test. So here anyone any doubt? So this is my manifest file, right? So this is the pod. This is the pod information and this is your container information and this is same kind equal to service and metadata service name type load balancer and selector. I want to call only this specific application. Suppose you deployed many applications. So I written one service object. Which application I want to access? There is a confusion, right? So that case, so we are with the help of this label and selector, we can find, we can identify. Now this service object, find it is check the label name. Hey, this label name is matched or not? Yes, it is matched. Now this is my image name. Inside this container, it is deployed our application, right? It is accessible only this particular application, this particular container. Now based on this only it will work. Now there is rule, this should this port number should match with the target port number, this port number match with the target port number. So this selector name should match with the label name. That is the rule. If you remember these 2 points, nothing. And this is the image name, this is your container name, this is the container port number, and so this default we are giving 80. So this service object and this pod object. So both are connecting with the help of HTTP 8.0. Clear guys? Anyone any doubt here? If it is clear, so let's move on to one more object. Anyone any doubt here? Hello? Yes or no?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So now there is one more object is there. There is a namespace. So namespace. Now, so here I created pod, I created service object, and these all are so directly we are getting. So directly here I am not mentioning anything. So obviously here if you come to here, so there is one object is that namespace. So namespace is nothing but right. This is a virtual cluster inside the cluster. Simply if you want to understand cluster inside the cluster, or this is the virtual cluster inside your Kubernetes cluster. So now I have Kubernetes cluster, right? Now I have Kubernetes cluster. So if you what is this Kubernetes cluster? So kubectl get nodes means so here two worker nodes is running, and so my pod is running, right? Where this pod is running, how I know? How to know that information? How to know that information? So kubectl get pod get pods hyphen o wide. I want to know some more columns. Now see here, this pod is my pod is running. I have two worker nodes. Now see here 10.0.1.216. So here it is running in this pod, in this worker node. So my pod is running so in this worker node. My pod is running in this worker node. So now this pod is so in this worker node nothing is running. So here this is 205, right? So I have only one pod. So this pod is running only this worker node. Now, so here, so coming to there is namespace. So namespace is nothing but this is right virtual cluster inside your cluster. So actually in real time, I have many applications. Try to understand. So if you come to real time, so by default here there is a namespace. Namespace is nothing but this is one cluster, that is virtual cluster inside your cluster. So by default, if we create any pod object, or if we create any service object, or if we create any deployment object, whatever it may be, by default, all your objects created under the default namespace only. All are created under the default default namespace only. Namespace. That shortcut we are calling NS. That shortcut we are calling NS. NS is nothing but namespace. Now, if you see here, as of now, I want to know how many namespaces available, existing namespace. So this is kubectl get ns means sorry, it will display all namespaces. All namespaces. See here, there is default namespaces is there, and cube node release namespaces is there, and cube public namespaces is there, and cube system namespaces is there. But if we create any object, Kubernetes resource, if we create any Kubernetes resource, by default, all are creating under the which namespace? Default namespace. Under the which namespace? Default namespaces. So right now I am not mentioning anything. Right now I am not mentioning anything. So these are the default. Now see here, that one only. So we and you have multiple namespaces inside the single Kubernetes cluster. Suppose if you want to, we can create multiple namespaces. Now these are the default namespaces, guys. These are the default namespaces. Namespace is nothing but simply, right, a virtual inside virtual cluster inside your Kubernetes. For example, if you take this is one big building, right? This is one big building. So here, so for just assume this is a school. All classes, so I can run here, right? So here is one class. Here I can start one first class. Here I can start second class. Here I can start third class. Here I can. Why we are dividing this big building to different rooms? Now got it, right? Without this partition also we can start the classes. What is the problem here? Now understand, right? This is one big building. So here without partition I can also start. This is the first class. Here I can start second class, third class, fourth class, like this. But why we are going to divide multiple right, partitions? So here we are going to divide partitions. This is one room, this is one room. Again, we are going to divide partition. Now we can understand, right? What is the advantage here? If you don't have any partitions, there is a big problem here, right? Everyone can see, all we can see, and there is a sound pollution, and there is some problem, right? And same way, if you go to real time means we are not going to deploy single project. We have many projects we are going to deploy. Suppose if all projects, if you deploy same namespace means default namespace means maybe I am not part of this project. Now assume here. So this is the, if you create any object, if you deploy any object, by default all are created under the, so default namespace only. Default namespace. Now, for example, my project ABC project I created here. ABC project, XYZ project, XYZ I created. Okay. So I divided, for example, uh, telecom project, whatever it may be, insurance, all projects are deployed here. But I am part of only ABC project. You are part of only XYZ project. But how I know here? But here only one namespace. This is very difficult to handling in real time. Are also confusing, right? Maybe so I can disturb this project. I can so do something modification here. Maybe knowingly, unknowingly, we can do something. There is some problem. So that is the reason real time so mostly we are going to do, we are going to create for separate namespace for each project, separate namespace for each project. So by default here already I have some namespaces. These are the default namespaces. Now these are the default namespaces. Now if we give here kubectl get kubectl get parts means, so where these parts are available here, now I am giving hyphen ns, hyphen given as, so now I am not passing anything here. If you give means, here we can see some pod name where this pod is running. So this pod is running only this particular default namespaces only. This is the default namespace. Now I want to see this part, what are the pods running here, and what are the pods running in this namespace. I want to check it. So if you want to check it, so this is a command. So kubectl get pods. Now I want to check which namespace. So for example, I want to check cube system namespaces. What are the pods running here? So ns space and namespace name cube system, cube system. Now see here, what
hyphen
is
n,
n?
hyphen ns.
Sorry, we missed hyphen n, right? So cube system ns is nothing but namespace. Hmm?
Only hyphen n.
Not ns. So ns hyphen n is nothing but a namespace. Now see here. So can you see this namespace here? Can you see this part in the under this namespace? No. So here there is some different parts are running. See here, that is AWS node, that is node related core DNS and Q proxy. There is some parts are running here. Now I want to see here kubectl get hyphen m. Now I'm giving also default namespace. Even if you are not mentioning, by default it is coming default only. Okay, default. Now see here, this is the default namespace. So this is the default namespace. Even if you are not mentioning anything, so where you are getting these all parts under default namespace. Fiscal, right? Okay. So now if you are not mentioning anything, by default, so it is coming from default namespace only. Now, so but real time for project basic specific, we are maintaining one namespace. If you want to create anything or if you want to deploy anything, or so mostly we are using so with the help of that namespace only. So these are the default namespace. Now even if you come to here, so now right, so Kubernetes namespaces. So if you come to here, Kubernetes namespaces. So these are the services. Sorry, not service. Kubernetes namespace. So there is a namespaces. This is the official website. If you want to know anything, so just come to here. So these are the so this is the initial namespaces. So Kubernetes starts with the four initial namespaces. These are the default namespaces. First one is default namespace. So Kubernetes includes this namespace so that you can start using new cluster without first creating the namespace. Without creating namespace, if you want to create or if you create anything, so where these all your Kubernetes resources under creating under the default namespace only. If you are not mentioning any namespace, by default all Kubernetes resources, if you create any Kubernetes resource, all are creating under the default namespace only. Clear guys? Anyone any doubt here? So I created one pod, I created one service. Did I mention any namespace specifically where I want to create? No, right? So if you are not mentioning anything, so these all resources creating under the default namespace only. Now there is one more namespace is there. This is the kube node release. Cube node lease, sorry, not release, lease, right? See, this namespace holds lease objects associated with your node. That node related information and all we can see here. So now if you want to check here, very simple only. Kubectl get parts hyphen n and namespace name. What is namespace name? I want to check. So cube hyphen node hyphen les. Now see here, as of now we don't have anything. Now I want to check public. Under the public, what are the parts and all running? So cube public. So now see here, I don't have anything. Now if you want to check cube system. So these are the main. So Kubernetes cluster and all parts default that right, parts and all running here only. Now we can see some of core DNS related pod and proxy cube proxy related pod. There is two parts are running. There is these are two core DNS, two parts are running. This is a node related parts are running. Now I want to create one own namespace. So if you want to create this already here, right, we can find here. This is the default kube system and kube public. So here also we can know what is kube public. See, this namespace is so readable by all clients. So public means anyone can see, anyone can right, public only, including those not authenticated. So this namespace is mostly reserved for cluster usage. So this mostly this kube public is this namespace mostly reserved for cluster usage only. There is kube system. Kube system. This namespace for objects created by the Kubernetes system. Which objects was created by Kubernetes cluster. So those and all those parts and all under the kube system only. This namespace for objects created by Kubernetes system. So these are the four types of namespace. Clear guys? Anyone any doubt here? So by default, if you are not mentioning anything, all Kubernetes resources created under the which namespace? Default namespace. Which namespace? Default namespace. Suppose if you want to create your own namespace, so this is the command kubectl create namespace test. Kubectl create namespace test. Now I want to create one namespace. So how to create? Check it here. So kubectl create namespace and your namespace. For example, I want to DevOps namespace. I want to DevOps namespace. Now see here, namespace was created. Now how to check how to list all namespaces? This is the command. So kubectl get ns namespaces. Now see here. So DevOps namespace is created. Now I want to check. Now I want to check. So what are the parts? What are the resources under the DevOps? See here, kubectl get. I want to check parts hyphen n. So my DevOps namespace. Now see here, I don't have anything. And I am new joiner. I'm new joiner too. So no Nokia project. Eh? యాడ్ పెట్టినావా? అంతే. Full stop. Could you please create AT&T UID for me? అర్థమైపోయింది. Sorry. So these are the DevOps namespace. If you want to get anything from specific DevOps namespaces related that resource and all, so that case we can give kubectl get part, or I want to check is there any services available here. I don't have anything, or get all hyphen n DevOps hyphen n DevOps. I don't have anything. So these are the some of basic commands only. So now this is the kubectl get namespace, and kubectl create namespace means we can create specific namespace whenever if we create any new resource, Kubernetes resource. So that time we can select this one. We can select this one. Clear, guys? So this is nothing but isolation. So these are the default, but mostly in real time we have separate namespace, and so while creating any Kubernetes resource and all, so that case mostly we are going to use that hyphen n, and we are mentioning namespace name. Clear, guys? Anyone any doubt here? Hello.
Clear, sir.
Okay. So now let's move on. And remaining commands and all same only. If you want to check any namespace, so that is same only. So describe if you want to know more about, so what is my namespace and all. So kubectl describe, I want to know describe, and describe and ns, and so we can write cube describe what is your namespace name, ns DevOps, right? Now see here. So this is DevOps. This is the status is active and new resource quota. So let me check it. So describe cube system. Now we can see cube hyphen sys cube system hyphen s sys. Now see here. This is also active. So what is the name and what is the status? We can check all these things. And if you want to know remaining same commands only, describe and all, how to check those describe, and if you want to get that YML format entire information and all, so that case we can use these commands. Now so these are the simple namespace. So but in interview also many people they asked, so what are the default namespaces in Kubernetes? So now tell me what are the default namespaces. So this is the, so by default, these are the four namespaces. Default namespace and kube node lease namespaces, and kube public namespace, and kube system namespace. Suppose if we create any name, any resource in if we create any Kubernetes resource, so all resources under where it is creating by default namespace only. Which namespace? Default namespace. Suppose if you want to create a specific namespace, so that case you need to mention that as a namespace name. Anyway, coming classes we'll see so how to create this all and all. Clear, guys? I hope you got it right. So anyone any doubt here?
No, sir.
So now if we come to here, now there is one more object. So replication controller. So replication controller. Now, as of now, I created one pod, right? So as of now, I created one pod. So before going to here, so now see here. Now replication controller. Now just I have one pod, right? First let me explain. So cat space test type and pod. Now, so here there is one pod. Now, for example, this pod is not working. There is some problem. Now, if I delete this pod, so automatically it will create any pod or not without application down. What is main advantage, right? So Kubernetes main advantage is so there is a without application downtime. We can deploy many times. Now I created one pod. Now here I created one pod. Suppose if I delete this pod, how it will work? So for example, so someone is unfortunately or unknowingly they deleted the pod. So now this pod is creating automatically, or we need to create pod manually as of now. In Docker also, right? We created Docker container. So now container is deleted. Unfortunately, container is not working. So now container is deleted. Now who will create container? Automatically it will create, or we are going to create?
We are going to create.
We are going to create your pod manually, right? Now, as of now, so just remember, now I created one pod. Now my application is working fine. There is as of now no issues. So this is my pod. So under this pod, so my Tomcat container is running. So under the Tomcat container, my application also running fine. This is my Tomcat container. So here my application also running fine. There is no issues. One so web so AP application. This is my context name. So it is working fine. So unfortunately, so my pod is deleted. My pod is deleted. Now see here. Now if you come to here, now application I can able to access my application. I can able to access my application. Now I am going to delete my pod wantedly. Now whether we can able to access or not, check it. So if you want to delete anything, so first let me check it. Kubectl get pods. Kubectl get pods. This is my pod name. Now delete. If you want to delete any pod, this is the command. Kubectl delete pod and pod name. What is your pod name? Java Web App. I deleted my pod. So kubectl delete pod name. Your pod was deleted. Now see here, pod was deleted. Now check this whether it is creating automatically or not. So do we have pod or not? See, no resource found default namespace. I don't have any pod. I don't have any pod. It is deleted. Now coming to here, just refresh it. So whether we can able to access your application or not. Now, so obviously we can't access because your pod was deleted, right? Now got it or not? Clear? Here. As of now, clear?
Yeah, clear, sir.
Now there is one more object is there, replication controller. So replication controller is the one of the key feature of Kubernetes. This is also one object, replication controller. See, replication controller main responsibility for managing your pod life cycles. For managing your pod life cycle. So now see here, this is my pod. Now I am unable to access my application. Who is responsible? Now I need to create manually. Again, I need to execute my command. Now if you come to here, so now there is one more object is there, replication controller. Shortcut we are calling RC. RC is nothing but replication controller. So replication controller, the main responsibility. So managing pod life cycle. It is responsible for make sure that how many number of pods you want to replication, how many pods you want to running always. So those and all if you want to maintain, we go for replication controller. Now see here there is one tag. See here spec replicas 2. So now if I mention replicas 2 means so now how many parts it is maintaining always two parts. If one part is deleted, so automatically it will create one more part. Who will take care these activities and all replication controller. So replication controller the main responsibility which is responsible for managing pod life cycle. So interview also many people asked what is replication controller. So replication controller main purpose which is responsible for managing your pod life cycle. If pod is deleted, if pod is unhealthy, if pod is destroyed, so automatically it will create one more pod based on your replication count. How many replicas, how many pods you want to maintain. So we need to remember only one tag, guys. This is the theoretical one day. The replication control is structure that enable you easily create multiple parts. You can create multiple parts very easily. Then make sure that a number of parts always existing. How many parts I want to maintain? So here I am maintaining only one part. If one part, this part is deleted, who will take care? Then no one is take care. Again, I need to create it. But so if you want to, there is a if you use a replication controller, if you use RC replication controller which is responsible for taking care. So this is the life cycle of your pod. Now here I am maintaining two parts. So here I am maintaining two replicas. This is one tag. We need to remember only this tag. Apart from this, nothing. So replicas, replicas. How many parts? Here I given two means. So by default it is so it is giving two parts. For example, this part is not running. This is some problem. Who will take care? Replication controller automatically it will create one more part. Automatically it will create one more part. For example, this pod is not running, this is not healthy, this is some issue. So who is taking care? Automatically it will create one more pod. Automatically it will create one more pod. So that is the main advantage of a replication controller. See here, always existing how many number of pods you want to existing. So if pod dies or crash, replication control replace it one more pod. If one pod is crashed, if that pod is not working properly, so automatically it will replace it by one more pod. Now replication controller and pods are associated with label name. How these all are? It is also with the help of label name. With the help of that label name and selector. They are right. We are giving selector. It is also maintaining same with the help of selector only. Now see here, create a replication without count, ensure that pod is always available. So by default, so one. By default, the account is one. By default, the account is creating replication controller, the account of one. Suppose if you want to more pods, we need to mention more pods here. That's it. Clear guys? Anyone any doubt here? So if you want to understand how many pods you want to maintain, always how many pods, how many number of pods you want to maintain. So as of now I am maintaining only one pod, so this pod is not working. So we will take her again, we need to execute. Now I am going to implement replication controller. I am going to use object name replication controller. Suppose you don't know how to write a replication syntax and all, just google it, everything they will provide. Replic example. So if you come to here, this is the official website, and so they will give. So this is the syntax, now see here, same API version v1 and a kind replication controller RC. Shortcut we are calling RC, and full name is replication controller. Metadata replication name. Now spec replicas, how many replicas you want to maintain. What is this number guys? Now 3 means how many parts it is maintaining? One part or two part or three part or five parts? Here I replicas, I given three.
Yes.
Three means by def it is maintaining three parts. If one part is deleted, automatically it will create one more part. Now remaining story same only. Remaining story same only. This is the template. See here selector. I am giving some name. Template, metadata, name, nginx, labels. So see here labels and selectors, and this is the container information. You know, right? Image information. So this is your container information. Just copy as it is. Now I'm going to create a same my own image. Now see here, so now it is timeout. Let me reconnect. So replication controller, what is the main purpose of replication controller? It is responsible for handling, managing your pod life cycle, your pods, how many pods you want to maintain. So those and all. Now ls clear, ls and cd space devas and ls. Now sudo vi I am using. So rc rc hyphen pod dot yml. Okay, whatever you want we can give it. Rc is nothing but replication controller. Rc is nothing but replication controller. Just enter. Okay, now already I copied it. Just paste it. You are new, right? So first time anyway you are confusing here. So this is up to here. This part clear. I hope. API version v1 kind. Earlier I am giving pod and service object, and now I am giving which object? Replication controller. Which object? Replication controller. And metadata name. So which name we want to give? We can pass any name. For example here I am giving so java web app app web rc. This is my replication controller name. That is my rc object name. How many replicas you want to maintain? So three. Or right now I want to two. That's it. Selector, we can give any name guys, we can give any name. For example I am giving so java web. Okay, and same name. So remaining template metadata name. So here also I am giving. If you don't have any confusion, same name we can give. So nginx. So label name I am giving here. So label name. So there I given, right. So service object, or I am going to write here service object. So Java web. Now what is this container name? I am giving Tomcat container. Okay. And what is my image name? I don't want nginx. I want to use my own image. Okay. So maven hyphen web hyphen application colon tag name 1. So what is this default? So container port number I am using 8080. That's it. Now come to here. Now same metadata file I am going to write. So service object also. Now it is starts with. So it is starts with hyphen hyphen 3. Okay. Now let me write the service object also. Now tell me hyphen hyphen and so API version v1 and so next kind service I want to access, right. So service sir VIC service object and so metadata name I given and so Java web app hyphen svc service hyphen rc I am giving replication controller object service. That's it. Next selector. Next selector.
Spec.
Sorry, spec, right. Under spec. Next type. So load balancer. Okay. Next selector. Under selector app colon so Java web. Okay, that's it. Next ports. Next hyphen
Sir, selector spelling mistake is there.
selector. Okay, selector. Okay, now clear. Anything missing?
Even ports also one step back.
So indentation spec type selector type. Okay, this is parallel to
Select
selectors ports. Under the ports. So now this is hyphen
port.
port. So default 80. Okay.
Yes.
Now what is last one? Target port. Target port. This should match with the target port. Sorry. Target PORT. Target port. So same whatever I given 8080. Anything missing?
No.
Okay, that's it. Dot. Okay. So now see here. Now earlier I am using pod. Now kind equal to replication controller. So replication controller, what is the main role? It is handling, managing your part life cycle. How many parts you want? Now this is basic information, guys. Metadata. We can give any name, and extra tag is this one only. Extra replicas. How many parts you want? How many parts you want to maintain? Now see here. I want replicas 2 means now it is going to create 2 part. For example, if you want to 4, it will create 4 parts. So anyway, I'm going to take next selector. Here I given one name, right? App Java web. Now should it match with the, this is the selector. So label this one, right? Labels. Okay. And template metadata. So same name. This is the container part. And the main thing is here only this one. Okay. Now escape colon X. Now check it. Kubectl apply hyphen F RC hyphen pod. Now see here replication controller. So this is your replication created. Now one service object also created. Let me check it. So kubectl get rc, kubectl get rc. Now see here, earlier it is showing see desired 2, current is also 2. Now check how many pods are running. Kubectl get pods. Now we can see 2 parts. How many parts it is running? 2 parts. See here, this is RC. This is one part and this is also one part. This is one part and this is also one part. 2 parts. So for example, now apply here service also. kubectl, kubectl get, kubectl get svc. See here, this is my service. This is my service. So what is this my service? This is my service, right? This is my service. Now copy this one. Now see here. So this is the previous one. This is my previous one. Now this is my service. Copy this one. Load balancer you link and go to here. Now coming to here, paste it here. That's it. Now it will take time. Just wait. So it will take 1 or 2 minutes. Anyway, it is up. Now how to access your application? So maven hyphen web hyphen application. Now we can access my application. There is no issues. Now see here. Now I can able to see. Now wantedly I am going to delete one pod. Now earlier if I delete one pod means it is not creating, right? Now see here kubectl get pods. How many pods we have? 2 pods. Now let me delete one pod. kubectl delete pod and pod name. Which pod you want to delete? Now remember last digit zj. Okay, now I'm going to delete this one. Copy this one and delete it. Now pod is deleted. Now coming to here, just refresh it. Do we have any downtime here? Do we have any downtime here? Now clear guys? Now understand?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Now
sir.
also one more thing. Now I deleted one pod. Now check it how many parts. Now how many parts right now? So only one pod or two pod. Automatically it will create one more pod. Now observe here. Now earlier, so this is the pod name, right? 8BRZJ. Right? Now see here, automatically it is created one more pod. That pod is deleted wantedly. Now this is one more pod it is created. Now this is the main. This is the see 20 seconds ago it is created. Now this is the one of the great advantage of Kubernetes. Without application downtime, we can deploy your application multiple times also. Suppose this pod is not running, automatically it will taking care one more pod. So for example, I am going to delete two pods. Now observe here, kubectl delete pod. I am going to delete two pods immediately. Now see here, at a time I am going to delete two pods. So I am going to delete this pod space. I am going to delete this pod. Copy and paste it. If I delete, I deleted two pods. Now I deleted, right? Now check it. How many pods is there? Now 0 or 2. Any guess it? See here. Now got it? Now clear guys. So actually I deleted two parts. Now if you want to come here also, so just refresh it. So do we have any downtime here? Do we have any downtime here your application?
No, no, sir.
So this is the main advantage of so replication controller. I hope now got it right. What is replication controller? So the main role of replication controller is handling pod lifecycle. Suppose if pod is crashed, if pod is deleted, if pod is unhealthy, automatically it will replace it by another pod. You don't worry. Now I'm going to update. Let me update this one. I want to update. So VA sudo RC. Now I don't want. Now I have two, right? Now I want to replicas. How many replicas? I don't want two is not enough for me. So I need four. I need four. Now see here four. Escape colon X. Now rerun it. So kubectl apply kubectl apply hyphen F RC. Now see here, it is configure, it is unchanged. That service object and all, I didn't change anything. Now see here, unchanged. Now this is configure. Now check how many parts, anyone guess? Now how many parts now you can see here? kubectl get parts. 2 or 4. Now I give one updated, right? Replicas I updated to 4. Now we can see only 2 parts or we can see 4 parts.
Four, sir.
4 parts. So there is no doubt. See here, 4 parts. Now there is no doubt. These two parts created, so 117 now these 31 seconds ago, these two parts are created. Now I want to know. So see here which part where it is running. Kubectl get parts -o wide. I want to know a few more columns. Now see here total we have total we have see here 4 parts, right? So now observe here. So this part is running so this worker node 216. This part also running 216, and this the remaining these two, see this part is running 205 worker node. So this part also running 205 worker node. So actually you have how many worker nodes? Kubectl get nodes. How many worker nodes we have? Two worker nodes. Now observe here. So see here, correct? Now total I have 4 worker nodes. So sorry, total I have 2 worker nodes and 4 parts I have. So 2 parts are running one worker node. Next 2 parts are running another worker node. Now got it? Who will take care this all these things? Guess it. Already you know, right? Some components in the master, scheduler, controller, you know, right? So that scheduler will take care this where I want to schedule these parts. Hey, already 2 parts are running. So this particular worker node. Now worker node is busy, right? Bit busy. Now it is running. Now automatically the scheduler right scan and right monitoring your which is ideal, which is no work for this worker node. So these two parts it is automatically assigned to this worker node. Now got it? Right? So there is API server, etcd, scheduler, controller. Now scheduler will take care all these things. Now already 2 parts are running one worker node. Now I updated my replicas. Now these 2 parts automatically it is assigned to another worker node. Clear? Clear guys? Anyone any doubt here?
No, sir.
Okay. So these are the replication controller. Now next class I will show you. There is one more also is there replica set. So now this is the set based guys. This is the it is supported set based. In intro also many people they asked what is difference between replication controller and replica set. What is difference between replication controller and replica set? Okay. So next class I will update I will explain you what is difference and how it will work. Now as of now clear guys, what is replication controller and what is the main purpose of replication controller, and only this is a tag replicas, how many parts you want to maintain, that's it. So and also it is maintaining so it is following so set based. This is the sorry, not set based, equality based. So replication controller following equality based. So equality based means so based on right a label name, and based on this label name, based on this selector, it will work. And if you come to replica set, this is the set based. We can set in where you want to execute. So those and all it will match. There is one more thing also, match labels and also match expressions, and this is the set, and this is the equality based. Equality means now so if it is matched, equality based means that is equal to, or here we are following like colon, right? This is nothing but equality based, equal. But replica set it is support set based, it is support set based. So anyway next class we'll see. Okay, I hope now we got it right, what is replication controller and what is the main purpose of replication controller, and so what it will do. Clear guys? So that's it from my side, and